When the lights are the brightest and all eyes are on you, can you live up to the pressure? So what are you waiting for? Time to take center stage. Three, two, one. Hey, what's up, everybody? DJ Vegas here, and I'm here with Mr. BryTime himself, BryTheKid, aka Bryant Schmitz. How's it going, man?
Pretty good, man. Appreciate you having me.
I'm glad to have you, man. You know, it's BryTime, baby. We're here to do this thing, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So first off, let's let the people get to know you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, so I'm 18 years old as of July of 2020. I'm a huge basketball fan, avid Blazer fan. I grew up in Portland, Oregon. So basically any Pacific Northwest sports, those are my thing. You know, you got the Seahawks, Blazers, Ducks, even a little bit of a Beavers fan, Gonzaga, stuff like that. Um, when I got into the 2K community, it was as my love for basketball was kind of, I wouldn't say dying out because it will always be there, but reality started to kick in a little bit. It wasn't something that I could pursue, like for a career like I could this. Outside of gaming, or outside of 2K, I'm a huge gamer. I got the whole PC setup. I would consider myself a PC gamer and I have a PlayStation to play 2K. So as far as gaming, I play all games, from your war zones to your open world survivals like DayZ. I don't know if you've heard of that. I used to play competitive CSGO, so a little bit in the esports. I wasn't obviously like a professional. I wasn't signed, but I played in like some semi-pro leagues like ESGA, I think it is. So that was like a pro league that all the players would play in their off season, similar to like the WR league. But that kind of came crashing down a little bit fast. I just kind of lost the burnout for it, and I got into 2K. And Park wasn't really my thing. I got bored fast, but I'm competitive. And the 250K tournament was advertised, and I leaped at it. Obviously, didn't make it. And then the 2K League was advertised, and I knew that I had to grind for the next 3 to 4 years. And here we are now. I'm in the pool. Outside of gaming completely, I like to cook. I did culinary all through high school, so all 4 years. Basically, helped run a catering company and a restaurant. It was more of like a cafe. Sell like breakfast foods, burgers, stuff like that. So through that, I would consider that my first some sort kind of job, I guess you could say. I didn't get paid for it because it was a class that I was taking, but it was 3 hours basically every single day. So it was like 2 periods out of your 4-period day, and you would, depending on what station you're on, I was more of a roamer. I helped out a little bit. I'd run the register, I'd go help on the grill, I'd prep, and I'd obviously do catering. So that's basically just like producing mass food for, like events, like your parties or your school, like meetings or, whatever. So yeah, I think that basically sums it up as me as a person, I guess you could say.
Hey, I mean, that's honestly that's dope. It's one, of course, we get to some of these things and it's like pulling teeth with people, trying to get them to, tell who they are. Because, of course, we know who you are on 2K. We don't know
Definitely.
who Bryant is,
Yeah.
And it's dope to see that, hey, you're a chef. That's phenomenal. Like, everybody needs to know how to cook. The fact you've done that for so long. Also, the fact that you've been a part of the community for years now, ever since the 2K League began. I think that's impressive. And the fact that you're finally 18 and now you finally have the chance to make your dream a reality, it says something. But of course, talk to me, man. Like, what's the difference between Bry, in the beginning to Bry now?
So when I first got into it and I was paying, to get in tournaments, as somebody who has like I'd say pretty severe anxiety, that got the best of me sometimes. And I had to kind of learn. It wasn't like a class I had to take. It was more just like the more I play, the more, calm my nerves would be. But it was just like a lot of in the start, I was just really nervous a lot of the time. I didn't want to, mess up. I didn't want to make people think that I was bad. And that kind of happened by itself, because if you don't really win, you're considered like ass or, whatever. And, I've heard a lot in the last year or two, like, damn, you've been in the community since you're 14, like, and you still suck. And I'm like, I don't see it like that. The people who play with me, they know, they've seen the growth over the year. I think of guys like Goof or D from the Blazers. He's been, I was on his team in 17. I was on the bench, but I did get a little playing time. Ended up winning the tournament. I guess that was the first tournament that, I really won. And he would come back basically every year after a season and be like, damn, bro, you got a lot better. And he would just kind of see it. And so now it gets to the point where I'm playing him and we're neck and neck, or I'll either beat him or he'll beat me. And like, I don't think Goof ever saw, like, cause I've came a long way, and I know that I've came a long way. I don't need anybody to tell me I've came a long way. Like, I know. So, being in the community since the start, I knew I had a long way to go, as far as, you know, just like being one of the best players in the world. I knew that the 2K league was, if I was good enough, they were going to find a way to get me in. So, whether I get drafted this year or next year, I'm going to keep pushing for it. But yeah, I think I've definitely come a long way. You've seen in the last, month or two, as draft stocks start to, like, boom a little bit. I think that I've really kind of made a name for myself as, one of the better players in the community, one of the better guards on PS4 or PS5. So, when you get to like your real test is like the combine. I'd load up with people like that or like top tier players like Spartan. I loaded up with him and Follow in the first game, and Follow's seen me grow because I've seen Follow since he came in the community. And I'll be the first to admit it, they probably weren't the most excited to see me on their team, but as soon as we started playing, I was hooping my ass off, and it was, I heard back from a lot of them that I was the best guard they played with, and they played with a lot of the guards that go in the lottery. So that's a little bit of validation, and I don't really care how the outsiders feel, just the people who play with me, because they know what I put into this. They know how bad I want it. And at the end of the day, I know that I'm one of the best. And whether it's this year or next year, I'm going to get picked. So I'm not going to, hold my head if I don't get drafted this year. It might be a blessing in disguise. I've heard from a couple people, maybe I'm a little bit too early, maybe a year early. So just keeping this pressure that I've had on me, and just applying that to the game, for the next year, if I don't get picked, and making sure that I'm one of the best players, if not the best player in the draft next year. So yeah.
No, and I honestly, I love that. I love all of that. And yeah, we've definitely seen your growth. Uh, I've seen it even in just this past month, where when you reached out to me just to, just get help about, hey, like, what can I do to help market myself better? What can I do to help grow my brand, etc. And the fact that you've taken everything that we spoke about and ran with it, and you've already seen, significant boost, like that showed a lot to me. And that
Mhm.
showed a lot in far as what you can do for a team, your preparation, and again, how much you wanted it. You've been
Yeah,
here for years just waiting for your chance, and now you finally have it. You're trying to do everything you can to capitalize on it, and I respect that. Even if
definitely.
it's not this year, next year, you're definitely doing your thing. I respect all of that. But kind of getting into it a little bit, you're talking about people saying, like, for lack of a better word, your ass.
Hmm.
You're not this good. You owe this, blah blah blah. We have all of these tier lists and, of course, mock drafts, etc., in the community,
Yeah.
and people, and of course, including myself. But again, I only made a top five.
Hmm.
They did not have you on boards to get drafted in tier
Definitely.
list. You just started getting added to tier list. How does that make you feel?
It's just motivation. It did piss me off in the start, but then I started thinking about it, and it just became a little bit apparent to me that not everybody was doing their research. So that's maybe why a guy like me wouldn't be on. Obviously, you're a guy who has all, like, you helped out with the combine, so you see how I did against like the better players. And if they weren't paying attention, they didn't go to my past broadcasts or go watch my YouTube videos where I have all 15 games that I played. They wouldn't know. So unless I'm like, contending in every single WR, which I have been, maybe not winning, but I've been, I'm not going out in no first, second round or anything. And just playing against the better players. I think I let my game speak for itself. Yeah, it pisses me off, but it's not something that I've heard a lot of people want to bring it up in their team interviews. I think that's a joke. Like, are you kidding me? That's like the dumbest thing you could possibly do. Um, I everybody who's in front of me has a target on their back. Recently I made the top, was at 25 per position for Harris. And I think it's not even a question that basically guys 16 through like 9 are not even close to being on my level. And I think my game speaks for itself because I haven't lost to any of those guys. Most of those guys I'll use Unguardable for an example. Played him in the combine. You know, he's white hot right now as far as like his draft stock goes. And I kind of took him out the game myself. I was playing with, I was playing with Icy Girl. She was very talkative and she was a very like learning and willing teammate. So I wanted to help her out just because I had played with her previously in the game, so I kind of knew that what she struggled with a little bit. So I wanted to help with that. And I don't think Unguardable can pick a game apart like I can because I had played him twice, and basically both games I held him to like 12 points. And I'm going on the other end scoring 34. So like, if I'm tripling him in the points and basically being the reason that he has nothing free because I basically just made him a passer. I know that most of the people who come into this game, specifically this game in particular, and they pop up out of nowhere and they're playing well, that's because it's really easy to score on this game. So I don't see a lot in the score. I want to see if you can pass the ball. And if you can't pass the ball, you're going to lose because I will take you out of your game completely mentally and just kind of dominate you on the floor. And I like him. He's a good kid. I think he has a lot of potential. But do I think he's better than me? Or I think I'm a top 5 guard in this class. So will he be better than me next year? Absolutely not. Is he better than me now? Absolutely not. And that goes for anybody else that they want to put above me. I think guys like Bucket and Dre and I'll even give Duran the nod and Ant, guys like that. I think they get the nod just because of like consistency and how they played at the highest level. Won a lot this year in particular, and have like a real resume when a team interviews them and asks, what have you done? They have something to show for it. But outside of that, nobody really can mess with me on this game. I think I'm one of the best. And with me, it's never been about like what one specific thing I need to improve on. It's just been about consistency. Going back to when I first started playing in 17 and 18, I would have good games against good teams, but it would just happen not very often. And then over the years, you get a little bit more consistent. You start winning a little bit more. I'm getting a little bit more money in my pocket, and being able to, I guess, add to my Twitter bio or how many trophies or rings I have. And then, going back to current gen, winning my first season, I won the militia season, right? And then we go into this game and I went on the T-Wolves stream and it came down to that we were down 0-1 and they did in the final four, they did an interview after game one and it took like 30 minutes. And that really pissed me off. So I was making sure that was never going to happen again. I was never going to sit there waiting while we were down 0-1. We didn't lose a game the rest of the tourney. I came on after that and I said we weren't going to lose this tourney, this round, and we're not going to lose this whole fucking tourney. And I went on there and we swept the rest of the tourney and got me in the pool. And then I won the combine and I dominated. I was one of the best guards in the combine, if not the best on PS4 or PS5. I played with a lot of good players against a lot of great players. And, I'm right there with them. I think to when we played against Sav in the combine, Sav's probably the best, in my opinion, he's the best guard in the pool. I think Bucket's the best point guard, but I think Sav 1 or 2 is the best guard. He's probably got the most talent in the entire pool, besides maybe Crazy. And I'm out there scoring with him. We're going neck and neck like Donovan Mitchell and Jamal Murray in the bubble. I mean, we ended up losing that game, but it was not something I held my head on. We didn't have the better team. Like if you just look at it on paper, we weren't supposed to win that game, but we lost by 2. And I take those on the chin. And I think I can learn more from my losses than I can my wins. So, yeah, I think these tier lists, they're getting a little ridiculous, but I'm never going to it's never going to take me out of my game. It just puts a target on everybody's back in front of me. And I'm going to make sure that I dominate them and just make it a little bit harder for them to get drafted if I don't. So that's basically what it is.
Hey, and I love it. And yeah, I definitely watched in the combine and myself and the other admins were going crazy, because it was BryTime. You hit some
Yeah,
crazy
definitely.
shots and you really took over in late game situations. And, for me, who I might not have watched a lot of your film beforehand, but the combine was like, hold on, I need to go back and check out this guy's film because there's more to the story. There's something going on. How is this gem, somebody like this, playing this way? And we barely know anything about him. So I definitely went back and I'm impressed. And you are somebody that is a little bit slept on. Yeah, you have a few things that you have to work on, but everybody does.
Definitely.
But your potential is through the roof, and I
Mm-hmm.
definitely respect that.
I
And
agree.
you were talking a little spicy there.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, like I know the whole notion in the community is like, you I guess people try and call you a little bit toxic,
Mm-hmm.
because you're straight up, you're straightforward and blunt. Can you just, talk a little bit? Is it like, why do people feel you're toxic? Because I
Um,
don't think so.
well, I don't believe in the word toxic. I don't think. You look at a guy like Dave Fry who had that label for the first 2 years of his career, didn't make the playoffs. They basically ran him out of town in Dallas, and then he goes and win a championship. I just think it's one, you'll never hear my teammates say that about me ever. So it's just the people that play with me. Yeah, I'm gonna talk my shit and I'm gonna back it up and then some. So it's basically just people who maybe watch me, and I do have a mouth on me. I keep it, PG-13, marketable. I never say anything about, anybody, anybody's like family members or, like nothing that the game wouldn't bring out of me. We have limits in the game and trash talk, and just some things you don't say, and I definitely abide by those rules. And I try to, stay within my character, and I don't want to call anybody out their name. But with that being said, if I'm on the court against you, you are ass. You're worse than me, and I'm gonna make sure that I prove it on the other end. So, that's that. I think the word toxic is a little bit overused, thrown around a little bit too easy. People don't like that I have a mouth on me, and it's why they don't like losing to me. But it happens a lot, so you just kind of got used to it.
Hey, no, I love it. And if you're winning, what can I
Definitely.
say?
Yeah,
Exactly. And to be quite honest, we do need that in the 2K League. Personally, I think that heels are something that's needed. Somebody who, who has the bravado to talk their stuff, but also back it up and,
definitely.
still be charismatic, still do things because, like you said, it's not a toxic thing. If your teammates will ride for you, go for you,
Mhm.
it's pretty much you love to play with them, you hate to play against them. It's kind of
Definitely.
one of
Yeah,
those things, and I
that's
can
that's
definitely
definitely what
see
it is.
that. Yeah. So all right. So I have a couple more questions for you, and
Okay.
just to make it easy with all right, this one's gonna be very simple. Like, how would you describe your play style, and which player would you say NBA wise best describes your game? I know this is a setup, but
Yeah,
go.
easy answer. My play style, I think I'm a jack of all trades. I don't think any part of my game kind of overshadows the other. I have games where I can score 60 and I have games where I can get, 25 and 15, no turnovers. I can have those type of games. So for some people, you either get 60 as their best game or another person you get 25 and 15 as their best game. I could do both. And I think pretty consistently, I got, I saw a lot of people in the combine that were hyping up Seldom for getting double doubles. And I played against him and he had like 10-10 with like 6 turnovers and we smoked him. So I don't think that, like statistical, like I don't really hang my head high on like stats, I'd say, but I could definitely beat a team in many different ways. I think I read the court very well, and I think my defense this year has been far better than any year prior. I think that was if you were to ask me, 2-3 years ago, what the biggest thing I needed to work on was besides my consistency was my defense. So this year I took a lot of pride in basically just kind of through the game, just making like mid game adjustments and figuring how to take point guards out of their game. Um, just like baiting them or, running punch or pressing them up the court, making their life a little difficult, like Kenny did in the league. He caused hell. So I took a lot of pride after that, or like the Kings guard defense. I wanted to, kind of mimic that. So basically the player that I would compare myself to, this is a easy question, easy answer, right? So we talk about BryTime, and that's paying homage to Damian Lillard, right? Dame Time, who got snubbed yesterday by the All-Star. I'm sick because of it. He should have been a starter. He's the second best point guard in basketball. And I think that when people think of Dame, they think of, last year when he was averaging 50 for like 10 games, they think of that. I don't think I'm quite there yet. And if I would be, I would have to be doing that at a high volume in the league, or else it doesn't really mean anything because you can get 50 on retail and nobody can really care. But I think I take pride in his ability to be able to pick down a team's defensive scheme throughout the game. Obviously, uh, rising to the occasion in clutch situations, and I think he's the best leader in all of sports, in my opinion. I think about how the way that he holds his teammates to the highest standard, but he expects them to hold him to a higher standard than he holds them. So I think that just being able to be a leader, I take pride in my leadership. I think I'm one of the better leaders, and I think that's one of the biggest qualities in a point guard. And if you're not out there leading, then why are you on the position? Like I think that the best point guards that are going to get picked this year are leaders, and I think that is probably the biggest thing, one of the bigger attributes that you could bring to a 2K League franchise. And I think Dame is probably, like I said, he's the best leader in sports in my opinion. So if I can, be 75-80% of the leader he is, I think I'm doing a pretty good job. But I'm trying to be the best leader in all of 2K League, right? I'm trying to make sure that I know what I can do to bring the best out of my teammates and on the court. Just tapping into the Bry time or the Dame time or the Mamba mentality, just being able to go there mentally and know exactly what I need to do to win every single game that I'm in. And I think you saw that in the combine. There was many games where I was trailing by 10, 12 in the third, early fourth, and we ended up winning. You think to the last game, I hit a game winner, right? I called the play, he hit the cut, granted in the corner. That was it. That was it. I was undefeated in the combine, and that was it for the combine. And we had the next month to go. So, I think when people think about Dame, they're like, okay, well, he's top 2 point guards, maybe even the best, right? Do I think that in the 2K league, if I got there right now, would I be? No. But do I think with the right team and like confidence in me, I think I could be the best point guard in the 2K league. But obviously we're not there yet. I got to get there first. So um, I think that just like the mentality that Dame has, I think is why I see him as a comparison to myself on the game.
No, I love it. And of course, we see it. And it's probably not just a homer pick because you're a huge Trailblazers fan. So,
Yeah,
it's a little bit, but no, I definitely see it. I respect it in your game. I love the confidence and I love how you've learned from Damian Lillard. And it really does translate to your game. And actually, you've been knocking out a lot of the questions that I've had for you, which is also very impressive. So, I have a few more for you. Then we'll get into a little bit of fun and wrap it up.
sounds good.
So, of course, there's different types of markets in the 2K League. We have the bright lights of LA, as well as small market teams such as your Pacers. Would
Mhm.
you prefer to play for a large market team or a smaller market team?
Um, Obviously, I think my personality would probably say bigger, just because of the way I am. I think I'm pretty animated, I'd say, and I like the heat. I like when people, and when I go into a Twitch chat and I'm playing one of the bigger streamers, say I'm playing maybe Dimes or Goofy or Dayfry, right? And they have like 600 heads in there. There's like 400 people calling me ass, and I love that. I thrive off of that. So I think that in a bigger market, I would definitely like thrive in that type of situation. Some people fold, and I would not. You've seen with picks in the past. I'm not going to name any names. Shout out to those guys. Um, but I think that Dame is from a smaller market, right? Plays in Portland. Nobody really cares about the Trailblazers except for me. Everybody from Portland, but you don't see a lot of people from Miami or New York like rooting for the Blazers. You see people from Portland rooting for the Heat or the Knicks or the Lakers. You know what I mean? So I think growing up in like a smaller town like Portland, a little bit under the radar with a bunch of small market teams like the Blazers. I think that I could definitely thrive in a situation like that. I wouldn't if I had to pick, I would want to go to a team that maybe doesn't have an identity yet, because I could be able to turn that around. You look at a team like the Pistons or the Pacers; they haven't had a point guard right in 4 years, like a consistent point guard, because they haven't retained any that 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 are worth keeping for like a long period of time. I want to go to a team like that. I want to be the reason that we turn around kind of the stigma about a certain team. As somebody who's tried to turn around his own stigma, right? People just thinking that I'm really not good at the game, and obviously that's not the case. I wouldn't be in the pool. I wouldn't be dominating like I am. So I would definitely say I'd rather go not a big market or a small market. I don't really care what the market is. But being able to go to a team and turn around that maybe stigma or narrative behind that organization, and maybe bring them to the promised land and win a championship.
All right, no, that's lovely. That was a phenomenal answer. I'm really impressed. Like for somebody who's only 18, you have a pretty good head on your shoulder. You're very mature,
Appreciate
well
that.
spoken. I don't know if you're media trained or something like that, but like, hey, you seem like you know what you're doing. So, big respect to you, dude. All right,
Appreciate
so
that.
one last question before we get into the fun is we have 3 weeks left.
Yep.
And again, by the time people see this, it's probably going to be less.
Mhm.
What are you doing to push your draft stock up and pretty much force people to draft you?
Okay, so I go back to my first team in the combine, right? Played with Spartan. We hooped. We beat a really good team that if you looked at the game before the game started, we would have been the underdogs. Um, and I like the way Spartan plays. I've always had a respect for his game. And basically, like 4 or 5 days after the combine, and I get a DM from him, right? He goes, "Hey, I'm putting together this team. We're gonna need a lock. Hit up my boy Roach. That's my right hand man. So me and him went over to Fab Five, former WR champs, right? Spark got his draft stock basically out of this world last year because of how well Fab Five played, specifically behind the play of him. So he had trust in me, and knowing that one of the best unretained power forwards, if not the best, wants to take a chance on a guy like me and rock out and excuse me, when the with like a when he hit me up, it was basically like a month left. Basically, try to win that last WR and anything that we sign up for in the meantime. So I think that I'm definitely going to be competing. I got in about an hour and a half, I'm going to be playing Elite Eight of the WR Open. So if we win that, it's Final Four. If we win that, we're in the championship. So that's the goal. Just basically win everything that I can or perform at the highest of my ability with my fantastic teammates. And outside of the game, I've been posting a lot of content. I got an EPK in the works. I'm doing it myself, so I'm not gonna pay anybody to do it. I showed you that. You said you were pretty impressed with it. So I hope to get that soon in the next couple week and a half, maybe. Maybe sooner, just depending on what I can get out as fast as possible. On top of that, I stream basically all of our big games on Twitch. I got a little bit over 2,000 followers on there, so I'm doing all right. Probably grinding the road to partnership here in the next year or so. And just posting all my games, all my big games on YouTube is more of like a portfolio for all GMs and scouts, as well as like a couple. I did an overview of the combine and basically my thoughts. It was like a 20-minute long video, just talking about what I needed to improve on, what I did improve on, how I think I played, what I could do better in the future, things like that. So if I'm not getting a lot of interviews, which I haven't, I've only been fortunate to get one that I'm still waiting to schedule. I think that I could use YouTube to maybe, or something like this to maybe persuade a team to want to get to know me more, because I think I have a story to tell and I know how to tell it. I'm the creator of the story, so I could tell it better than anybody else. So I think just like being just consistent with the content, networking with the right people, like a guy like Spartan, obviously winning, performing. And, if I don't get picked and I did everything I could, as soon as the draft over, we're in post draft and I'm going to dominate that. And then we're going to go to next year and I'm going to be a lottery pick. So, I think that, God has a plan, and, I couldn't be more thrilled for the ride over the next, however long.
No, I love that answer. It's honestly, and I look forward to seeing it. Whether you get drafted this year or you just go kill it in post draft, you become a lottery pick next year. I'm excited for your future and what your potential holds. It's going to be great.
Appreciate that.
But all right, we'll switch it up. We'll have a little bit of fun. You kind of told us
Right.
a lot already, but we're going to kind of do a little bit of rapid fire to kind of let the people get to know you a little bit. All right.
Sounds good.
So, ready?
Ready.
Favorite color?
Pink, hot pink.
All right. Favorite sport?
Basketball.
All right. Favorite type of music?
I'd say rap. R&B, or like I like house music, so something like that.
All right. One song that you can listen to for the rest of your life?
Revenge by Jonah Lucas.
All right. Cool. One thing you can't live without?
My phone.
All right. The person most important to your life?
My dad and my dogs. You can hear them, I'm sure.
All right. And one thing you want to do before the year ends?
Um, I'd say probably get my fitness back on track. Quarantine kind of got the best of me a little bit. I think just probably, I have a pretty spacious house I'm living in, so I probably set up like a little home gym. Just get right. I cook for myself, obviously. When you texted me, I was actually eating dinner, so just made some TikTok pasta, if you know what that is. Yeah, I'd say just like fitness, just eating right, just kind of working on like me as well as my game on 2K. So yeah, I'd say that, and just like having success in whatever I do in the next year.
All right. Cool. So, I mean, that pretty much about wraps it up. I want to give you the floor to tell the people where they can find you on social media and all the platforms. So I'll give that to you really quickly and we'll start to wrap it up.
All right, sounds good. So you can follow me on Twitter. It's at BryTheKid with 2 Ds. It'd be Bry Lillard top 5 with a little like White House emoji or whatever. You can follow me on Twitch, which is where you can basically find all my games. BryTheKid as well, 2 Ds. If you want to add me on PlayStation, it's the same. You can follow me on Instagram at BryTheKid with 2 Is instead of 2 Ds. So it's BryTheKid. And on YouTube, it's just BryTheKid, which is basically where all my games are going to be, or any fun content I want to do. I might start doing some like culinary stuff, maybe cooking a little bit on there, as we go on. But more importantly, when Twitch basically removes past broadcasts after like 30 days or 60 days or whatever. So basically all my big games are going to be archived in a playlist on my YouTube channel. So, I'll have original content, but it'll be more like a portfolio, and I'll treat it as such. So yeah, I appreciate you having me on, Joe. This is a blast. And, I'm looking forward to these next 3 weeks, see what I could do and help my teammates kind of boost their draft stocks, and, just like, give it my best shot, and, hope for the best.
All right. There you have it. All right, everyone. Well, I'm DJ Vegas, and this is my guy, BryTheKid, aka BryTime,
Yes, sir.
and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.
Adios.
So, what are you waiting for? Time to take center stage.